So I'm Rob, I'm the Builder Investor. Welcome to the Builder Investor podcast. Today we have got Sam. He's come all the way up from Leeds, down from Leeds probably, down to Stoke. So he's come basically because we met around about, how long ago was it now? About 3 or 4 months ago when you come to Property and Poppadoms.
Yeah, it will have been about that one.
Yeah, so we met then, kind of hit it off really, became pretty good friends I say in such a short space of time. So, and he's agreed to come down and just basically have a chat on the podcast. So, welcome Sam, thanks for making the journey. Do you want to give us a bit of an intro into who you are and what you do and what you do in the world of property?
Yeah, so thanks for having me. This is the first time I've actually been second time I've been in a proper podcasting studio. So
well, it's my little shed, but it does the job.
Feeling honoured, thank you for having this. Yeah, my name's Sam Cooke. I'm the owner and editor of the Blue Bricks magazine, Blue Bricks Property Magazine, and also I don't know if you call me the founder or the organiser of the Blue Bricks Property Awards as well. So Blue Bricks is a magazine for property investors, property developers, more experienced investors and developers, and we kind of interview some more well-known people in the industry, people that are doing incredible things, people that have got unique stories, and then share their advice for success.
Right. So what was the transition? I take it you were into property anyway before Blue Bricks arose, or was it more of a publication thing? Have you come from that background? I've purposely not looked at your background, so we can discuss it here. Are you with me?
Give you a long or short version. So actually, before everything, I was a stand-up comedian.
I heard that.
You heard that?
Yeah,
I spoke about that on 1 or 2 podcasts. That was kind of before everything. But I've been working since I was 16 in corporate. And I realised very quickly this just isn't for me, the 9-to-5 life. I don't want to do it. I'm looking around, I don't see a happy face in sight. Everyone's miserable, everyone's talking about all the things they wish they'd done. And it kind of got me looking at stuff thinking, you know what, I've always wanted to own my own business. I've always wanted to go my own way. What can I do? And I started looking into investment strategies and businesses, read The Richest Man in Babylon. Just that real early sort of insight, and property just caught my eye. I must have been about 18, 19, and it just caught my eye, and I thought this is brilliant because stock shares, looking at stuff like Forex, looked at Forex for a while. I thought it's just not tangible. You can't touch it, you can't feel it, you can't see it. It's numbers on a screen. And then as soon as I saw property, I got really excited by the whole aspect of it being this real thing. So I started researching property. I went travelling, I left my job, and I kind of decided when I went travelling, I thought that's it, I'm going to come back, and when I come back, I'm going to do something, a career. I'm not just going to jump from one job that I don't really like and stay there. Mm-hmm. So I became an estate agent, and that was my opening into property, because I thought, how do you start in property? There's no like GCSE or anything, so it's just estate agency. So I went into that, timed it perfectly with COVID, so I wasn't an estate agent very long. I ended up leaving throughout COVID, and then became a property sourcer. Because I thought, you know what, I've got all this time, like we all did in the first lockdown. I've got all the time in the world, and I've always hated wasting time. I thought I've got no excuse now not to throw myself into this and learn everything I can and get started. I can't say I don't have time because we've literally got all day. So I did that. I launched, I found a mentor. I started property sourcing using the area I was an estate agent in, because obviously I knew the area, knew the investment hotspots, that kind of thing.
What was your area then for sourcing? Was it local?
Keighley in Bradford.
Oh right, so you were up against Jackie Collier then?
Yeah, I didn't know Jackie Collier at the time. Yeah. She's a good friend of mine now, but Jackie Collier, one of the real kind of hard hitters, and then there were a few other ones in the area too. And Keighley's, it's like a strange place, man, because on one street you've got like the roughest area that you'd never want an investment property. Yeah. But then next to it you've got these like gorgeous hotspots with high yields, and that's
very much like Stoke. I showed someone round, I think it was yesterday actually, someone came and had a look at a few of our projects and what have you, and I showed her around Stoke because she was interested in Stoke. Yeah. She was up in the Wirral somewhere, and trying to explain that literally you could be in one area and go 200 yards up the street and be in a bad area. Are you with me?
Yeah.
And that's what catches a lot of people out in this area, because it's so confined. It's quite spread out, but it's so condensed in that bad areas are next to good areas, and you can be so easily caught out by just buying 100 yards up the road. Are you with me?
Yeah. Oh,
so is that how it is in Keighley?
Exactly what it's like in Keighley. Like right next to it, you've got Haworth, which is renowned for the Bronte sisters. I think they were born there or something like that. Wuthering Heights. I never read the books, but that is like one of the most beautiful areas you'll ever see, and that's 5 minutes down the road from Keighley and some of the rough areas there. So it was quite an interesting place, and sourcing properties around there taught me a lot about property. We saw all kinds of different things, met all kinds of different people. I had investors try and do me over. It was a real kind of straight into the deep end of business and property. And while that was happening, I was introduced to Blue Bricks magazine, and Blue Bricks kind of said to me, and I've been sourcing for, I think it was just close to a year now, and said, look, we'll hire you for 25 hours a week. You can be our marketing manager. We'll introduce you to investors. I'd never had I had a bit of a mentor in the sourcing business, but I'd never been around business people before then. And I'd started this in lockdown, so there was never the opportunity to network or meet people. And you can join the office, meet these other entrepreneurs, be around other business owners. You can still do your sourcing. We've got no issues with that. So I started working for Blue Bricks magazine, and then basically fast forward through working with them as their marketing manager. I bought the business in 2022. So that's how I went from being the market manager to the owner.
No, that's amazing. It's quite a powerful story. That, I mean, how old are you now? You're not.
I'm 25.
So you're still only 25.
I feel about 50, mate.
Yeah. When you get yourself into business and it does become, everything's hard work. Anything that's easy, anything that's worthwhile is not easy, is it?
No.
So it's kind of, and it does. I mean, I've gone grey in the last year.
Yeah.
just being in property. So
I don't feel young, and I know it sounds odd. Everyone's like, "You're really young." I know I am young, but I don't feel young. And then when I go out and I occasionally meet people my age, or meet like some of the people I used to know from school, I'm like, "Oh wow, I am this young," because I feel miles older.
Do you feel that they act a lot younger than you feel?
Some of them
Have
do.
you grown up a lot quicker?
Yes, some of them do. Like you'll bump into someone at the pub that you used to go to school with, and like, wow, yeah, you're really young or I'm really old.
Still walking around town with a can of beer and
yeah.
Yeah. I've got a lot of that. There's a lot of people around. I mean, I'm 45 now, and I bump into people from school.
Yeah.
And I'll come away with a bit of a Jesus Christ, like they haven't, you know what I mean? They've not moved on much since school, let alone from, the last time I saw them a couple of years ago. Are you with me?
Yeah. Right,
so, but yeah, I mean, do you still do the sourcing, or have you completely knocked that on the head now? Was it?
I moved away from sourcing. Like, with all the respect in the world to sources, there's some brilliant sources. I couldn't think of anything worse than going back to sourcing. Hats off to anyone at Sources Properties. Honestly,
I did it, but it was my entry into property. I'm a builder. I run a building company, and my idea was, I love what I do.
Yeah.
But there's one thing that lets it down, and I'll say it, and I'll keep saying it now, and I'll probably say it for the rest of my life, and that's customers.
Right.
But unfortunately, without the customers,
yeah,
there's no business model. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So my idea was to basically exchange customers for investors, and do it that way. Yeah. But as it turns out, some investors are worse than customers. Yeah. So it's with an investor or a landlord or whatever you want to call them, I find that they are more finicky because they are running that property as a business. So anything that's coming away from the profit, so an expense, so a sourcing fee or a refurbishment fee, project money, anything that goes with that is detracting away from their end line.
Yeah.
So they are more eager to get things cheaper than, say, Mrs. Jones, who's having an extension built that's going to live in that property for the next 20 years. Are you with me?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but unbeknownst to me, I went and did it. I did okay. I went through, probably a friend that we both have, Jamie York. Yeah. He took me through deal sourcing, and I did it for about a year. I did okay, and sold quite a few deals, but yeah, it sent me grey.
Yeah,
it's hard work. It's not. A lot of people sell it as a passive income source, and it's not. It's a job. It's full time, and
it is full time. And I think sourcing is it's one of those roles where you can play your part perfectly. You can do it all well, but the deal can still fall through because the vendor, the finance broker, because the solicitor's taking too long. Like, you can be an amazing sourcer and still have deals fall through. And I think that's about the part I found really hard is how much you rely on so many other people.
Yeah, in the property industry, you do. Everyone goes on about your power team, don't they?
Yeah.
If you've got that team, but even then, your team can still let you down, even if they're amazing. Everyone has bad days, don't they? So, but yeah, you do rely on a lot of other people to get things right and to get that deal across the line, kind of thing. So
exactly, and I have a frustration with some homeowners, and I had this in estate agency, just like you do with sourcing. When you're going around these properties and the roof's falling in, there's damp everywhere, like it's probably unmortgageable, and they're going, yeah, but it's got a lovely back garden. And you go, I don't care about the garden. This is £100,000 worth of work that needs doing. And that, I always found that super frustrating.
Yeah. So you've exited that now, and I take it full-time, Bluebricks, pushing forward with that. So how long's that been now since you actually took the reins?
It's about 2 years now, 2 and a bit years, I think it is.
So how you find it? I've noticed myself literally in the last 12 months since being introduced to Bluebricks. I think it was Jackie that
Collier.
Yeah, I think it was her who put us onto you, and we followed a couple of your events. I think I've sat on one of the webinars.
Yeah.
And obviously then I met you. I've been to your awards recently.
Yeah.
Didn't win an award. Bit frustrated about that.
I was waiting for this one to get brought up.
But no, absolutely amazing evening, mate. I came away, even though, didn't win anything or anything like that, I came away from that night absolutely buzzing for the whole week, pretty much. Not just the fact that the award was in such a beautiful place, you know what I mean? The venue was outstanding. Pefferson Castle's amazing, isn't it? But the people that were there as well.
Yeah.
Are you with me? The people that actually attended that event was... I mean, I've been to quite a few events in the last year or so, last 2 years, but it was a cut above. Are you with me? It just had that prestige element about it of... Yeah, it was really good, mate, and hats off to you. That must have took some serious organisation.
It took a lot, mate, and there was a few reasons why we had such amazing people. I mean, number one, the following that Bluebricks have somehow, I don't know how I do it, it's just incredible, lovely, genuine people, which is amazing. The castle itself, the setting was beautiful, so you obviously got people wanting to attend that. The ticket price, obviously a lot of the low money, no money down crowd, it wouldn't be right for them, and also having the event on a Wednesday, it meant a lot of the people attending are self-employed and full-time in the businesses and not taking time off work. So it kind of perfectly came together that the calibre of people there were kind of next level, really.
Yeah, I'm not saying that in like a snobby way. Yeah. You know what I mean? It wasn't that it was upmarket or anything like that. It was just everyone who was there was not a big player, but serious about what they do. Are you with me?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, and it was just amazing for me as well. I kind of met up with a lot of people that I've been speaking to either via social media or email or whatever, or networkers meetings that we do a lot of online now. I actually got to speak face to face to a lot of people that I've never met but had a lot to do with for the last 2 years. So that in itself was amazing for someone like me. Are you with me? Just gets people together, doesn't it? So
it does, yeah, and I think it works well. You'll probably sympathise with this, having it outside of London. But I love London. London is a beautiful city, but having it more kind of central in the UK meant we've got a lot of investors and stuff from the north as well.
Everyone as well.
Yeah, so we got quite a lot of people there meeting that hadn't met before, but like you said, met online, and that was really nice as well.
Yeah, there are a lot of people, especially from like Leeds, Bradford way, I think, into property, and a lot of big hits. You know what I mean? When we've just mentioned a couple, Jamie and Jackie, and what was he? I forget what his name is. Richard, who does the blueprint, the developer's blueprint and what have you.
Yes.
Andy Hubbard's up that way. So it's just there's a lot of talent coming out of that neck of the woods. Are you with me? So
there is. I think statistically, the highest kind of ratio of landlords and investors in the UK, I think it's London, but then I think it's followed by like Manchester.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of investment and a lot of property stuff going up in the north as well.
Yeah, when I speak to Jamie, I mean the whole reason he is in, I mean he's not from Leeds, he's down south somewhere, but the whole reason he's stuck with Leeds is because of the regeneration of the place. They reckon it's going to be the capital of the north very soon.
I think
so. and he knows his onions, let's face it, you know what I mean? He wouldn't have chose a place without doing some serious looking into it, are you with me?
Yeah, I think it's the financial capital of the UK, or it's going to be something like that, I've heard.
Is it the West Bank development or something like that they're building, one of the biggest developments in Europe?
Yes.
So that's something I've heard about.
We've got Yorkshire's tallest building going up as well, I think.
All right.
For anyone that cares, but you know.
So it's basically the Dubai of the UK, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean maybe slightly less than that.
Yeah, weather's probably a bit more shit like. But yeah,
slightly.
Yeah. So let's get back to Blue. So how's it going, Blue Bix now? Is it ramping up in the way that you wanted it to when you first took over, or is it? Yeah,
it's going well. I think when I first took over, I don't think I envisioned it being how it is today. I think it's organically kind of grown with me. The awards that we did has made us real. It's taken us from being this like publication, like obviously it's a physical printed publication, but taking us from being this thing that people see online and have heard of to like being this real physical thing that people can visit and see. And the awards has definitely give us a different touch and feel, and the way that people are talking about us, talking to us, approaching me is different too.
Yeah, I think it does. It stands out against other publications, other magazines, because there are a few like big magazines in the industry, aren't they? And I think they've all started to get that a little bit stagnant, a little bit set in the ways. Are you with me? And not moving with the times and things like that. Which I kind of think that's what you've done. You've given it that kick up the arse that it needed. Are you with me? So
I think that's the thing. Like, the two challenges I've got is that property is an old-fashioned industry in itself. The way that people do stuff in this industry is quite old, which is why stuff like Property Filter is really coming up now. And then publishing itself, like magazines and print magazines, you know, they're not as popular as they used to be. So I think innovating, doing the events, bringing people together, some of the stuff I've got coming up into Blue Bricks I can't quite talk about yet, but some acquisitions that I'm in the process of making are all things that are going to innovate and bring it forward.
Yeah, it's good, like you say, print kind of, you know, the internet kind of, it almost kind of wipes it out a little bit, doesn't it? But you've still got that nostalgia of actually something physical that you can pick up
and read
and hold. I mean, for someone like me, I'm dyslexic anyway, so I will struggle to sit and read a full book. Audio books were massive for me, but to sit and read a magazine is quite, you know, it's approachable for me. You know what I mean? I can do that kind of thing. So, and it takes me back to my youth. You know what I mean? When you were a kid, you had your magazines, didn't you? You had, forget what it was now, some teen magazine that I used to read.
Oh, like Beano.
I can't remember, but some smash hits or something like that. Yeah, but it takes you back to that, you know, looking forward to it coming through the post or going to the news agents or whatever. That bit of excitement, and you just to flick it over with your cup of coffee and just sit and read through and see what people are getting up to without actually looking at a screen. Yeah, it's a change, isn't it, from that, you know, phone or a tablet or whatever, a laptop. So
it's a nice change, and I think people like picking up a magazine and receiving a magazine, it makes them feel like, because properties learn the game, it makes them feel like they're a part of something.
Definitely.
And I mean, it's funny because I get people that read the magazine and then they'll either post straight on social media and tag me, or they'll speak to me, they'll go, the content's actually really good. I was like,
that's it.
Like,
didn't want it to be shit.
I know, but like I generally put so much time and thought and effort into each issue to make sure that the content's top level, and the people that we've got in there are unbelievable, and they really don't pull their punches when it comes to giving advice and giving the value. And I was saying something the other day, it frustrates me that people spend thousands of pounds on training education, which that's a good thing for a lot of people. If you subscribe to Blue Bricks magazine, man, a lot of that information is in there.
Yeah, I had this discussion with another guest on the podcast, a lad named Callum. He does his own podcast, Hustling for Houses.
I think I'm doing it Sunday.
Well, he's a big advocate for the fact that everything is out there. If you're wanting to learn enough, yes, it might take you slightly longer, but everything's out there. Because the educators had to get it from somewhere in the first place. Yeah. You know what I mean? They didn't just wake up one morning and all of a sudden, I'm a property professional educator. They've had to learn it, so that's got to come from somewhere. So he's. I think, what was it he said now? Something like, you need to get as far as you can on your own first before you actually start paying anyone. So, and I don't know whether I agree with that or not. Are you with me? Because
Yeah.
Education does expedite a lot of the hassle and a lot of the mistake making and things like that.
It does, yeah. It shows you how to do things right from the start.
Yeah. And if you can learn from other people's mistakes, then
yeah,
I'm all for it. I think it boils down to the fact is because it's kind of niche.
Yeah.
A lot of people do charge a lot of money for it, are you with me? Because the amount of money that you can make at the far end of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the bugbear with some people. But it's like anything else. Sometimes you do actually get what you pay for.
You do. There are some... property training is one of those controversial subjects. And I've found that through having Blue Bricks, I get invited to a lot of people's training programs and stuff that want me to see it. There's some brilliant trainers out there that actually teach really, really good stuff. Obviously, there's other trainers out there that aren't as ethical, and everyone knows that. Not naming names. My biggest gripe, personally, people disagree with me on this, can't stand anything to do with mindset. I think the whole pay 10 grand and get told about positive thinking really does my head in. I know mindset's important, it really is, but for me, what's really important is the education on what to avoid, what to do right, how to find a deal.
Yeah. To be honest, I probably agree with that. I mean, well, you've just seen me having a right go at the computer because I couldn't go on the internet, and that's all in your mind. You know what I mean? It's how you approach a problem, isn't it? And mindset is very important. Are you with me? It will get you through some low periods, and it will help with the high periods as well. But again, it's kind of something I think that you've got to work your way through yourself.
Yeah.
No one's got the same mind. So to actually teach mindset, it's quite a difficult thing. There's a lot of people out there with very, high qualifications above me and you, professors and things like that look into the human mind. And for someone who's, just got a YouTube channel who decides that they've done well and they're going to teach mindset. Yeah, I kind of agree what you're saying there. The facts of property, it's either fact or fiction. So to teach whether something's right or wrong, you can't argue with that, can you? But mindset's very subjective, isn't it? So
yeah, it is subjective, and a lot of the reason that it's talked about a lot is if you can get someone into that positive place, that positive feeling, they're much easier to sell to, which is genuinely why you see a lot of that in courses. But it is important, like you said about the professors, for example, the miracle morning, some people up at 5 o'clock in the morning, some people that works amazingly well for them. I'm a bit of an early riser myself. For other people, they cannot do early mornings, but they'll work really late into the night. They're night owls. So you're right. Everyone works a little bit differently.
Yeah, everyone's different, and everyone's got. It's the old strategy thing as well in property. People advocate one strategy for this and one for that. You've got to find your own little niche, I think, and work your way through it. Andy Hubbard actually said something to me. I think it was when he was here, and he said, "Your first year in property should be spent doing no education, nothing. It should be spent deciding what your path is."
Yeah.
Are you with me? Just do a little bit of an investigation into each strategy, into each, educator, and just work out what it is you want to do first. Because you can spend a long time going down the wrong path and all of a sudden have to backtrack. Are you with me?
Yeah, exactly.
So I kind of agree with, what he said there as well. So
yeah, I do agree with that. Like for some people, flipping houses and building up that cash pot is really what they're passionate about. For other people, further cash flow, still look at like HMOs and service accommodation. But naturally with those, especially with SA, you've got a lot more work. It can very quickly become a day job. So I think you're right. You've just got to think what works for me and what works for my long-term goals.
Yeah, circumstances as well. Personally, for me, I had this bit of a heated discussion with Jamie York about age.
Really?
Yeah, because it's kind of, at my age, I've not got the time to arse about. Are you with me? I can't go down the wrong path.
Yeah.
Because I want to retire at 50 years old, 51, something like that. I'm 45 now, so realistically, I've got 5 years of hard slog to get to where I want to be. So I haven't got that time to make the mistakes. And property is all about a little bit about mindset and actually learning to take the wins and the fails as well. Are you with me? But sometimes which is why I'm a good advocate for education. It can kind of expedite that failing. Are you with me?
Yeah.
If you can learn by someone else's mistakes, I'm all for it. So but yeah, we had this bit of a back and forth about, no, it doesn't matter, you start whenever, you can start at 70 and still, it was like, No, you can't. you can't physically understand that until you've got to that specific age. Are you with me?
Yeah, I get it.
Because when you are younger, especially when you're very young, like 18, 19, you think you've got forever. Are you with me?
Yeah.
And the importance of getting started isn't, it's not as important to you then as it will be, say, at 45, 50 years old, when you know you've got limited time. Are you with me?
Yeah, I get that.
So I have it a lot. People say to me, do you ever clock off? You know what I mean? You're working yourself into the ground, but it's the case of, I've got a limited amount of time. I need to get what needs to be done kind of thing. So,
to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. This is a bit of an inner battle I've been having myself lately. It's like the balance. Like, how...
Yeah.
Because I feel like I don't have much time. I know I do because I'm younger. And it's that we all have those thoughts that even though we know that the bollocks...
Yeah, even though you're younger, we've still only got that 24 hours in a day. We've all still got the amount of time per day, so...
And, there's part of me that thinks, do you work all the hours you can get to live the life you want to live and then you look after your family? But then the other part goes, well, if you're working all those hours all the time, will you even have a family left by the time you get to where you want to be?
Yeah,
so I think balance is a difficult thing to find, and I can't seem to find a consistent answer, to be honest with you. Some people say work all the hours under the sun 7 days a week. Other people say you actually work better when you balance it out. I don't know. I think it goes back to everyone's got to do what's best for them.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because sometimes something will happen and that will trigger, I need to get this done.
Yeah.
And then you'll generally work longer, maybe that day, than you will the next day, where everything seems to be going swimmingly. Are you with me?
Yeah.
And again, maybe a little bit of mindset, the kind of mood that you're in that particular day, how productive you've been, whether the internet's working right. It's little things like that will add to your day, and so you could end up working longer periods during busier times, but some people do advocate that you basically set your working day out right down to the hour.
Yeah.
I've got a little timer up there. Sometimes I will do 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off, and think, all these strategies that you can employ. Whether you're any more productive or not, I don't know. Are you with me? Because it's hard to measure, isn't it? Productivity.
It is hard.
It's a difficult one to measure, so...
Yeah, it is hard. What I used to do with my to-do list is when I completed something, I deleted it. But then I get to the end of the day, but I feel like I've not done it today. So what I do now is I just move it to one side and then I go, actually, I have done quite a lot. I think it's productivity. I think it's working on the right things. And I don't know about you, I love what I do. So like when people are like, you're working so hard, I'm like, yeah, but I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, it has given me... I got to the point probably 2 years ago where I hated building. Yeah. I'd done it for 28 years or something like that.
That's a long time.
And it was like, I've had enough. And with customers, don't get me wrong, I've had some amazing customers, you know what I mean? But for every probably 50 amazing customers, you get that one bad one, and that just wipes out the last 50 that you've dealt with that have been really good. Are you with me?
Yeah.
It's the same with getting a good name for yourself. You can spend years and years building a good name up for yourself and then lose it in 20 seconds you know what I mean? It's the same with customers. One bad customer will just undo all the good work of 50 good customers. So, but yeah, I got to that point and it was like, I've had enough. But getting into property, which was tied in nicely with construction, has made me find this newfound love again for construction. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So,
I always find it interesting. So when we speak to investors, like I do survey stuff like that. What people say, I can't find good tradespeople, can't find good builders. When I speak to people like yourself, Richard Stone, Dave Ford, people that are in the construction industry, they'll talk about how people should be better customers. And I do think there's a conversation missing there, actually.
There's two people.
Yeah.
Effectively, it's a relationship that you're getting into.
Yeah.
And it's a two-way street. Yes, everyone wants a good builder, a good joiner, a good plumber, whatever, plasterer. But then people want good customers as well.
Yeah.
And let's face it, there's going to be bad customers as well as bad builders. So it's kind of a bit of a... You know what I mean? We kind of butt heads in that thing. I think there should be a lot more discussion towards that, because we never see any programmes on ITV like customers from Hull, do we?
No.
We see plenty of builders from Hull. Yeah, we were painted in a real bad light for quite a long time at one point. And then there was a massive shortage because there's no apprentices coming through no more.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, they stopped having to go at builders because they realised we actually need them.
Yeah.
Infrastructure, the whole world, the construction industry, I'd probably say it's one of the biggest industries in the world, and without it, I think the whole economic, the old economy around the whole of the world would just come to a halt without construction. You've got infrastructure, you've got kind of buildings itself, you've got public, municipal buildings, hospitals, things like that. Everything's built in the way of construction, so knackered without it. So
yeah, we kind of rely on it, really.
Yeah. And it says one of the biggest industries in the world, which is why we've got a construction industry training board specific to construction, because I don't know when the CRTB came around, but I think it was the 50s or something like that, because they realised that they needed to keep training within that industry in order to keep it going, because the world could come to a halt without it. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, less about my industry. We can talk about that forever, because we'll never fix it. It's, it keep going round and round in circles. But yeah, so we'll get back to Blue Bricks. So what's next? What are you perceiving that you need to do to push it up further up the ladder?
What can I talk about? So I've got 2 acquisitions going through at the moment. One a business, and one is a bit harder to explain. It's almost like taking the assets from a business, but those assets will then be attached to Blue Bricks. I think one thing I can talk about is we're going to be doing more events, not like the castle, the awards, more of that in the future. I need to settle down from that. That was a lot of planning, like a year's worth of planning. But we're doing quarterly events, and these are going to be a bit like the awards central, so that everyone from across the UK who's an investor can join it. The first one we've got coming up, I don't have the date just yet. I'm viewing the venue next week. It's doing clay pigeon shooting. It's going to be about 30 to 50 people. But after the clay pigeon shooting, we're having a mastermind meal. We're going to have an accountant there. We're going to have someone from finance. We're going to have someone quite well known in the industry who's a business expert, and we're going to do a deep dive into everyone's businesses. And because it's going to be, established and experienced people, really give that value of like, I'm struggling with this problem, and then everyone in the room can help them. So it's bringing people together, it's having fun, it's building relationships, but then it's also helping people in property and business, which ultimately is what Blue Bricks is all about.
That's really good, that is. I might come to that myself.
You'll enjoy that.
I'm actually reading at the minute Profit First, and that's why I'm in here now, trying to get on the internet. I'm trying to implement that, open the 5 accounts and what have you, because when you've just said about looking into people's businesses and seeing how they're doing, a lot of people stick their head in the sand. They don't want to know, because they know that towards the end of the year they're not making that profit that they think. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So a lot of people will just physically stick their head in the sand. I've read that book and I've done the assessments at the beginning of the book, and I thought I was making alright profit and stuff like that. Turns out my business is not doing that. According to that. So I'm implementing stuff like that, but I can imagine that people sometimes just don't want to know. Are you with me? That's a hard thing to approach with people, I would imagine. So
I think it really is. I heard a statistic yesterday, I'm not sure how accurate it was, I think it was a bit older, that 70% of UK businesses don't even hit the VAT threshold. It's like 70% of UK businesses, I think the VAT threshold's gone up now. We're not turning over more than £80,000 a year.
I think a lot are intentional though. VAT does put a lot of people off in business, because it's, if you get it wrong, it's potentially jail time. Are you with me? It's not. The VAT man will not wait. He's different from the tax man and any other people that you collect. Your materials bills and things like that. They will wait. They will have to go to court if something goes wrong to get the money off you. The VAT man doesn't. He's got his own. You know what I mean? So VAT is. It's very frightening for people that are new in business or in small business. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So they will move. This is my opinion, by the way. Because I'm not a tax advisor, but I think they will move heaven and earth. They will get customers to pay for supplies and things, so their turnover doesn't go up and things like that. It's big in the construction industry. A lot of construction, like one man band plasterers, for instance, like that, will get customers to go and buy materials.
Yeah,
they will get them to pay cash and stuff. You know what I mean? That's what they shouldn't be doing to stay under that threshold. Which is why we have CIS now. Why people collecting tax on behalf of people and paying over to Inland Revenue because of that. But yeah, business in the UK is hard. I forget what the statistic is now, but I think it's 4 out of 5 businesses fail in the first 12 months.
Yeah, and I think that I can't remember.
And then the next 5 years isn't too good as well. I think,
and 10 years is especially bad. Like the stats are like your odds of survival, and then your odds of actually scaling and growing a business are like as bad as it gets.
Slim, aren't they? Yeah, really slim.
Yeah, like put it this way: if it were a surgery, you wouldn't want to go through it.
But
for some reason,
you wouldn't take the chance.
for some reason, here we are, anyways.
Yeah. So, what's your team like then? Now, have you built a team, or is it just you and a few people, or?
Yeah. So when I took Blue Bricks on, everything was outsourced. Outsourced because we're a bi-monthly publication, so it's really weird the way that my life works because I'm super busy for like 3 weeks every other month. That's when the magazine's going together. Now the magazine's in design. The next issue is in design currently as we record this. I'm kind of more relaxed and I can do a lot more business development and stuff like this. So I hired someone this year full-time, a marketing manager, because I was spending so much money outsourcing my marketing. And it got to the point I was like, I'm basically paying someone's wage and the work that I'm getting back's rubbish. So I thought I might as well just hire in-house. And then at least I can control the quality.
Yeah.
And, train someone up, which is what I did. So I've got a full-time marketing manager now. I am on the fence of hiring someone again for sales potential, or maybe another admin to help because there's so much that needs doing.
So what would you say your position is in the magazine? Is it editing or?
Editing, yes. I edit a lot of the articles. Sometimes I'll write articles for people, I'll put the magazine together. That's a big job. But again, with the magazine being bi-monthly, that's 3 weeks every other month. Obviously, I interview a lot of people for the magazine, put people in the magazine, I film the podcast. But predominantly now, for me, it's business development. It's calls with potential advertisers, maintaining relationships with current clients. It's looking at how else we can grow the business, like looking at the quarterly events, the acquisitions that we're currently doing at the moment. That's more my role.
So there's no specific journalists that are going out meeting with people that they're interviewing, or I take it that's what you've been doing over the past.
I do that. So. It depends. With the wonderful world of Zoom, a lot of that can be done online now, virtually, which is nice. Yeah. Sometimes if we've got a really interesting project, case study or something ongoing, I'll go view them. I have these amazing ones where, like, Mars Hall, which is this old Georgian manor house, I got invited there. I got a free overnight stay with like a hot tub. I've got one coming up in Blackpool that's got like a built-in cinema. It's got a cinema, 9 leather seats. They're like, come stay the night. So occasionally, as the editor of a magazine, you do get your perks and your little holidays and stuff.
Wouldn't be a business if you had a few perks, would it?
Yeah, so there's the occasional benefit like that that's fun.
Yeah. So what does Sam Cooke do for fun then? Or is Blue Bricks your fun?
Yeah, that is my fun. What Sam Cooke tries to do for fun when he's got a bit of time, and I need to get back into this, is climbing. I love rock climbing.
I didn't know that.
Love rock climbing. I've forced myself this year. I was like, you know what, I don't want to leave the business, but I'm going scuba diving for a week in Egypt. So we're living on a boat for a week, and then it's 4 scuba dives a day. So I'm a qualified scuba diver. I love that. We're moving office soon, and that's got a gym inside it, and they've got classes for boxing and stuff. I do like martial arts and the gym. So I was like, if I move to an office where the gym is literally in the office, I've got no excuse to not use it. So hopefully now I'm going to start getting my life back a bit, get a bit more of that balance, have a bit more fitness routine. So that's me, really.
Do you think you'll ever go back to the stand-up, or are them days over? Or?
Not professionally, mate, no. I think I can just be a clown in my day job, but no, not professionally. I think I'd probably get cancelled these days anyway.
Was it something you enjoyed then, was it?
Stand-up comedy is like the best and the worst thing in the world. When you do a gig, I did one 250 people, and you tear the roof off the place. You've got people clapping, laughing. Best feel, like there is no feeling in the world. You are buzzing on the drive home. Then when you go to like a pub in Darlington for 4 people that are pissed and don't know comedy's on that night, and they're heckling you and they're swearing at you, not so
great.
Yeah, not so great. So it balances itself out. It does. I think for me, like the thing I enjoy is challenge. So like one thing I did lately was Tough Mudder. I love like setting a challenge, something I've not done before, something a bit different, and training for that. I get a lot of joy from it.
Yeah, I can kind of. I agree with that. Are you one of these people that kind of, you love the challenge of something, but when you do get to a certain level, you get good at it? you almost get a little bit bored of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very much like that myself.
Yeah, I do know what you mean there.
Yeah, I played guitar and sung in bands pretty much like since I was a kid, basically, probably 18 years old, I think, roughly. And I did it for years, and it got to a point where it became a job. I was doing it 3-4 times a week, travelling around and playing and singing and what have you. Not getting into like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. It was starting to affect my day job.
Yeah.
But I absolutely loved it. And then I got to the point where it became a job, and I got bored of it, and I packed it in, and I haven't now. I think it's about 6 or 7 years now since I picked a guitar up and played a gig.
Really, you have to teach me, because I've got a guitar gathering dust that I've wanted to.
My kids all play now, you know. I still love music. Music's a massive part of my life, you know what I mean? All the stuff that's around me now that's allowed me to do the podcast, you know, the recording software is what I already had through music. We've got a recording studio in the house, which my kids use now more than I do. You know, I don't really set foot in there. But it's the same with everything. I've been into mountain biking, mountain boarding, kite surfing, and you get to a certain level and it kind of tails off a little bit. So you find something new, don't you?
Do you find, because like one thing I love is travel, for example, but do you find that if you're doing something that you enjoy leisure-wise, like, I don't know, the gym, the guitar, that you feel guilt? Because whenever I'm not working, I'm like, I should be working. So now, I just, what do I do for fun? The answer is work. And I'm not saying that I sound like one of those grind set people. It's because when I'm not working, I'm just like, I feel like I should be working. For me, that's something I'm battling in my own mind.
I've battled with that probably for the last 20 years.
Really?
Yeah, to even just take a Sunday off and like to sit and just put Netflix on.
Yeah.
And just watch something that's completely mindless that I haven't really got to think about.
Yeah.
Just to take my mind away from the constant thinking and solving problems and firefighting and things like that. Yeah, you'll sit and, like I say, stick a film on or a series or something like that, and 10 minutes in, you're looking at your watch thinking, I shouldn't be doing this. And you do start to feel guilty for taking some time for yourself, which you shouldn't do, should you really?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to balance at the moment. Like, I work hard, but how can you do that and still keep your mental health in check? I'd say. I
get it on the other hand. I feel guilty when I pay myself as well for the business.
Yeah, I do.
And that's a terrible thing to think, because the whole reason I'm doing it is to earn money. You know, we're here to earn money in a business, and when I pay myself, I think I shouldn't be taking that. I should be going back into business. But reading this book I'm reading at the minute has totally flipped it on its head for me.
Yeah.
So
you're right. It's weird, isn't it? You start business for more money and more time, and you end up going, I want to keep all the money in the business, and I don't want to take any time to myself.
Yeah, which is backwards, isn't it, really? But again, that's a little bit of mindset and a little bit of, learning from others, and that's amazing, mate. We're up to 45 minutes now, so I generally try and cut it off there, because people get bored at listening to my monotonous tones and my stupid accent. Apparently got some right good comments the other week.
On what? On the podcast?
On my accent.
Who from podcast listeners?
YouTube video. Someone accused me of being a pot dealer because of my accent. I'm like, I wish I was. I'm sat in these scruffy clothes all the time.
Tell you what, probably making a fair bit of money if you do.
I know, but you get some shit. This is half the problem with social media and YouTube and stuff like that. You put yourself in front of some wrong people. You know what I mean? But you've got to do, if you want to be in that space, you've got to learn how to deal with it. So
I once did an online survey for property to see what people wanted to know in property, and someone commented on your post calling you an knobhead. That's fine. Someone filled out this entire survey, and wherever they could write a comment, they just wrote a reason why they thought I was a knob. And I read through the survey and I was like, you know what? This person's put effort in. I can't be mad at them. They've sat down a good 10 minutes at the time. I've gone into this. I respect that.
But it says far more about them than it does about us. You know what I mean? What kind of bad day must you have had to actually sat there and wrote a whole form out? Send, you know what I mean?
Yeah. To go through MailChimp and do that. I mean, a lot of it, I could tell they weren't close to me because it wasn't personal stuff. It was why don't you do something other than post about your business on Facebook? And I'm like, well, what else am I going to post about? If I didn't have my business, I probably wouldn't have Facebook. I don't want to see pictures of people's food and dogs. And as for, you know, people I used to go to school with, if I wanted to stay in touch, I would have done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it literally is just for business purposes.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing, mate, and I'm really glad that you made the trip down.
Oh, me
so,
too.
I don't know if you've got time, we'll go grab a coffee or something in a minute. But yeah, thanks for coming. If anyone wants to get in touch with you, whether they want to subscribe to Blue Bricks or come to one of your events, how can they do that?
Yeah, so I'm probably most active on LinkedIn and Facebook, which is just Sam Cooke, Cook with an E, for me, my personal kind of moanings of life. For Blue Bricks Magazine, bluebricksmagazine.com, we do a 3-month trial, so you can literally go to bluebricksmagazine.com, click join. Join will post the magazine out to you. You can read that, you can join one of our events for free, decide if you like it. If you do, stay subscribed. If not, unsubscribe. It's really not that big a deal. You don't even have to contact one of us to do it. You can do it through the website. But obviously everyone that reads the magazine absolutely loves it, and I know they'll get a lot of value from it, so I recommend that.
Absolutely amazing, mate.
We've got our own podcast. I keep forgetting about that.
Say again.
We've got our own podcast too. I keep forgetting about that.
Yes, you have. Am I booked on? I think
you should be.
I am booked on.
If not, we'll do it after this.
Yeah.
But the Blue Bricks Property Podcast.
Yeah, defo go and give that a listen as well, guys. And thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to just drop down there, whether it's YouTube or whether it's Spotify, just give this video or this audio a like. It helps us massively, and we can get more videos out to you. Cheers, guys. Thanks for tuning in.